Oh, dear viewers, and welcome back to another election episode of This Week in Canada. My name is Roberto Wakerel Cruz. Thank you so much for joining me. But before we get started, I want to give a big shout out again to our sponsor, Surfshark. For a limited time only, you can get 81% off Surfshark. It's the VPN of your dreams. What can you do? Well, you can private the internet with safety as a top priority, knowing that your privacy is, totally private, which is exactly what we all want. Go down to the links below for a limited time only. You can get 81% off. It's only $250 a month for unlimited devices. That's pretty solid if you ask me. There's a lot you could do with it. Go to your Netflix, find movies from France, some weird nouveau, whatever they call it. Go to the English UK, go to .co.gov, whatever, and just look at websites over there. Now, another thing I want to give a big shout out to is Rumble. Rumble, if you aren't familiar, is a new video platform. It's similar to YouTube, but it gives us a little more creative freedom. It's independent. It's not owned by the very scary Google. It's owned by just a couple guys. So go and check out Rumble today. It's in the links below, and make sure you subscribe. And if you're watching on Rumble, hello. Nice to see you. Anyway, let's jump in to all the news. Big news week again. A little bit slower than the first couple weeks, I will admit, but still lots of news happening in Canada. Specifically, I want to get into this story that was really strange. And it just shows the kind of demented, kind of upside down world some liberals exist in, where, they see stuff that isn't really there. It's like a hall of mirrors, except the mirrors make you look like Hitler or something. It's really scary because, well, I guess that doesn't make sense, but I'll explain the scenario. You remember last week when the gender equality minister, Miriam Munsef, said, hey, and to our brothers in the Taliban, can you guys knock it off? Which was a weird thing to say. Obviously, if you're in the Taliban, I wouldn't call you my brothers. And it's just not a word that you would really use to describe the Taliban. I don't really care about the cultural context there too much. Forgive me if it doesn't translate. But similarly, if you were to describe Erin O'Toole, would you use words like, moderate, maybe bald, conservative? Running a decent campaign, I guess. He's doing okay so far. Anyway, the word I wouldn't use is Nazi. But some of these Trudeau supporters really, really, really would say that. Would call him a Nazi. And we'll explain why. You guys aren't going to believe this, by the way. Let's put the tweet up on the screen, which shows indisputable evidence that Erin O'Toole is a Nazi. Pardon my French. So let's show it right here. A University of Toronto professor, David Fisman, that shows a Conservative Party tweet that reads, Canada's recovery plan will secure the future for you, your children, and your grandchildren. And here comes the professor. Of course, we all love professors, the most educated people. Wow. Now they've added secure the future for your children, and they've got the slogan at exactly 14 words. So creepy. And then links the Wikipedia article for the 14 words, which is some fringe kind of white supremacist kind of motto that that white supremacists like Nazis throw around. I guess it's inspired by like Mein Kampf or something. It's about preserving white children's futures for the existence of a white ethno-state or something so archaic and weird that you would never believe that Erin O'Toole, this guy thinks that Erin O'Toole is a Nazi. But anyway, it's not just some weirdo professor that thinks that this is totally legit. Lots of people in the comments below, these true Anon types, as some like to call them, also were sharing this and saying, yeah, this isn't just a dog whistle anymore. This is like a foghorn. This is like a Nazi foghorn, including a man who I was not familiar with named Brett Thalman. Brett Thalman is the National Get Out the Vote director for the Liberal Party campaign in 2021. He also is pretty important for the Trudeau Liberals, as Thalman was an executive director for the Liberals, led the Liberals' Ontario campaign in 2015, and was one of the architects behind Trudeau's gender-balanced cabinet, which we all know has worked out extremely well, according to his international school profile. So we're now starting to see senior Liberals get on the bandwagon of Erin O'Toole being a Nazi. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this as total nonsense. I mean, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Warren Kinsella. He used to be a big lefty. But even now, he's saying, oh, hold on, you guys are believing in these whack job conspiracy theories? A senior liberal is spreading disgusting conspiracy theories about Erin O'Toole. They're making up news. I mean, these guys are like the Ministry of Truth. They're making up their own truth, these own narratives, just to throw down a guy who's doing really well in the polls still. And we'll get to that briefly. I want to get to another story really quick. It's a shame that these episodes aren't longer, But let's just go into another story about Trudeau's hypocrisy. As we all know, Justin Trudeau has never done anything wrong in his life. He speaks from an ivory tower, and it's great because it's never going to bite him in the butt. He can basically just judge others and do what he wants. It's just great. Now, we all know this isn't true, though. True, though. So, as it's come to light, I can't remember exactly what journalist asked this, but said, hey, Justin, so you have this candidate, an MP. He's running for a third term. He goes by the name of Raj Saini, a Southwestern Ontario candidate. You're still letting him run. And it turns out this guy has some allegations, like some not great allegations, including a lady that accused him of something, attempting suicide in his office. Mr. Trudeau, do you think this guy should be allowed to run? And the answer he gives, well, we could just roll the clip if you'd like.
CBC News has learned there have been concerns raised to your office about MP Raj Saini, dating back to his first mandate in 2015 and a series of cases where he allegedly acted inappropriately with young female staffers or made them feel uncomfortable. You said you have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to harassment. Why has your party greenlit him to seek re-election?
I've said many times and will continue to insist that everyone deserves to have a safe workplace in the public service, in political campaigns, and right across the country in whatever jobs they have. That's why, as a government, we have moved forward with much stronger measures, both in the public service and in Parliament, and continue to demonstrate the leadership that ensures that people have a right and actually experience safe working environments.
So that's Justin Trudeau, Mr. Zero Tolerance, Mr. Feminist, saying, well, we like to look at these things on a case-by-case basis. We like to make sure... God, that's a bit of a pickle that he's in now, right? So 7 sources with knowledge of the claims describe 4 different cases where Saini allegedly made unwanted sexual advances or inappropriate comments. Saini said he has never acted inappropriately towards staff, which we know we can all trust him. A former senior staffer who filed a Canadian Human Rights Commission complaint against Saini last year, alleging unwelcome advances and harassing behavior, said it's upsetting the party is allowing Saini to campaign after under the Liberal banner in Kitchener Centre. So if you're in Kitchener Centre, I would highly recommend not voting for the guy that has accusations that seem credible against him. And why does this put Trudeau in a pickle? Why, if you're Trudeau, would you not go, you know what, that guy seems like he's a little gropey, maybe not good, he has a few, he's getting numerous. If it was 1, you'd say 1. A couple is 2, a few is 3, but now it's numerous accusations against him. Let's maybe think about getting rid of him. But the problem is that, as we all probably remember, Justin Trudeau has some allegations against him too. Namely, one, when he was out in the Kokanese, out in British Columbia with a media reporter, journalist who broke her silence recently. We hate to quote the CBC here, but they are the one that broke the story. A woman who accused Trudeau of groping breaks her silence. And while she said explicitly, I wouldn't describe it as sexual assault, she did say, he grabbed my buns. This is not a direct quote. He grabbed my buns in a way that was not cool. And what did Justin Trudeau say to that? Well, this is why it's important to remember that we all remember things a little differently. I don't think I did anything wrong, but maybe she does. Kind of a weird thing to say. So this puts him in do you guys remember the Wii scandal? Where Bill Morneau had to quit himself because if Justin Trudeau fired him, it was almost like an admission of guilt that Trudeau did the same thing, because they both accepted gifts from the We Charity. Trudeau accepted like hundreds of thousands. Morneau accepted $40,000. And so if Trudeau were to fire him, he would have to fire himself. But the problem here is Trudeau can't fire this guy. It's a whole mess that I'm interested to see how it plays out in the polls. This could be the nail in the coffin for Trudeau, among many things. I personally think the nail in the coffin is that I went to go buy a coffee today and it was $3. And every time I go to buy bread, it's like $17. Like, where am I? Whitehorse? So just to end the episode, I wanted to take a quick look at some polls. If you're a nerd like me, you like polls. And I'm not talking about... Actually, the last time I made a Polish joke on here, people got really mad. So I'm not going to talk about Polish people. I love Polish people. I love punchkis. Anyway, these are some interesting polls that I want you guys to look at because they interest me. And I want to get your feedback on what you think these mean. We're going to put them up on the screen and we're going to talk about them a little bit. If you haven't been following the federal polls, the O'Toole Conservatives, they're looking pretty strong, man. I'm liking the way that Erin O'Toole looks on the cover of that magazine now, if you get what I'm saying. If you know what he looks like Mike Holmes. Kind of flexing like that. Kind of cool. He's looking strong. And he's looking strong in the polls, too. He's looking healthy. He's looking like a vet. And I don't mean dogs. Anyway, let's put the first poll up on the screen. This poll is asking for the preferred prime minister. It's a Nanos research poll from September 1st, so just 2 days ago if you're watching this on the Friday. It says, who would you prefer for prime minister? Right now, Trudeau rests at 29%. That's not changed. O'Toole, also 29%. Interesting. Singh, 19%. Bernier, 4%. Blanchette, 3%. And Anime Paul, 2%. If you're in that 2%, I'm worried about you. I don't know if you saw that video today of her saying you have to vote for the Liberals. It was a gaffe, but let's just roll that really quick.
But I'll tell the people of Canada that if you want a real plan, one that is going to grow our economy, that is going to put us at the front of the competitive green economy of the future, help us to join the green rush, then the only option in this election for you is the Liberals. And you can count on us to work cooperatively and collaboratively with every party on that.
Second poll I want you guys to check out is, if you could choose the result, which type of government would you like to see? This is an interesting one because it kind of gets rid of like who are you going to vote for, because it kind of eliminates that kind of strategic voting angle. It's just, what do you want to happen? Given just, if you could just snap your fingers and choose. CPC majority, 32%. NDP majority, 18%. LPC majority, 17%. And then LPC minority, 14%. CPC, 10%. NDP minority, 9%. So that's pretty interesting. The CPC majority is way ahead by almost double there what the NDP majority has. What's interesting is the LPC majority, very low, which is kind of telling. That if I was Trudeau, that would freak me out. And one more, because we're running out of time here. I don't want this one to be too long. What do you expect to happen? So despite wanting a CPC majority, this Angus Reid poll, the same poll, said that what do you expect to happen? Well, most people, even though they think a CPC majority, they want it, 49% say that LPC minority will happen, which is kind of what I still think is going to happen. A CPC minority, 26%. That's interesting. An LPC majority, 12%. So that's the third highest rank. CPC majority, 8%, not high. NDP minority, 3%, and NDP majority, 2%. If you really think that's going to happen, you might want to get your head checked. That's all I say on that. And that's all I'll say in general. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Before we go, make sure you check out Surfshark once again. Maybe you looked at it at the start of the video and you said, you know what, not this week, but this is your sign to get it this week. The offer's almost done. 81% off, $250 US a month, unlimited devices, and be sure, Rumble, young man, Rumble. Go to the links below and check out our Rumble account and give us a subscribe or follow us on Rumble. Check out our videos there, and if you're watching us on Rumble, I say adieu to you. If you're watching us on YouTube, I say adieu to you. Goodbye. I'll see you next week.